In this video, you're going to learn what truth is and why some people can't handle it.
You can't handle the truth!
My name is Jack. I created this channel to help you learn not just what to think, but how. You're going to find out how to think critically, win arguments, persuade people, and handle criticism. Welcome to Critical Thinker, where you'll learn how to become not dumb. Has anyone ever told you you can't disagree with me? Sure, maybe an argument with your spouse. Maybe there are some people in life that you have learned never to argue with. Usually, people won't use this kind of language because there are softer and more socially acceptable ways of telling someone you value them but disagree with their position.
Loathe entirely.
Ever heard someone say, "You do you. You can't judge me," or "You can't tell me what to do"? There is a sneaky viper hidden beneath these statements that I want to help you see. If you've already been bitten by this snake and the venom has made it to your brain, hopefully this video can serve as an antidote.
What's that?
Antidote. To what? The poison you just drank.
What situations come about when these phrases are used? Usually, a moral rule or principle is stated. It could be an opinion or an argument that opposes the behavior of someone you're talking to. Flippantly, the response will be thrown out to put out the fires of correction, chastisement, or feelings of judgment.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no justice being served here. So do what you want to do, because I'm not in your hands. I'm in God's hands.
Only God can judge me. Today's whole relativistic enterprise is built upon misunderstanding the truth. Truth, they say, is based upon opinion, so it's right to protect people's freedom to have their own opinion. Opinion is believed to be the arbiter of truth, but what happens when two opposing opinions make contact? In just a little bit, I'm going to show you how to handle someone who holds that truth is based in opinion. But first, we need to lay some groundwork. Truth is defined as conformity to fact or reality, exact accordance with that which is. Truth is a precondition for knowledge, meaning truth must exist before we can know anything at all. This is self-evidential, a first principle or a foundational condition. If anyone denies that truth exists, we can simply challenge the claim by asking, is it true that there is no such thing as truth? If they say no, then we can disregard their nonsensical statement or oppose it outright as true.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
If they say yes, we can show them how their statement is self-defeating. For their claiming truth doesn't exist as a very statement to be understood as true. As a self-evidential entity, we need not prove how or why truth exists, because it stands on its own. But we do need to explore our access to it, which is what this video is about. Truth corresponds with reality, the way the world really is. We have the truth when our mind is in agreement with existence. We possess and align to the truth with our propositions, claims, thoughts, representations, or beliefs. Propositions are either true, false, or we can't know. Water is fluid. Vice is not admirable. Green olives might taste good. How we evaluate such statements includes a great many realms of justification, some of which don't even require justification, as covered in our epistemology video. Every proposition is either in the foundations or believed on the evidential basis of other propositions. We either know things self-evidentially or evidentially based on other inferences. Which comes first, knowledge or truth? Does our knowledge create truth, or does truth exist independent of our knowledge? Truth exists as a metaphysical reality, one we discover, but we don't have to discover a truth for it to exist. There are truths that we might not realize were true. We might never discover them, but they would still be true because it's impossible for it not to be.
I am the Father. No, not true.
What this means is that truth exists outside any attainment, any grasp or apprehension or realization by humanity. As I'll lay out, truth is obtained when our mind corresponds to reality. It is objective and absolute, existing regardless of our awareness of it at all. The more truths we discover and adhere to, the better we will be. But truth doesn't submit to us. We submit to and adjust our ideas to truth.
I will let you go, Ricky. But first, I want you to say, I love crepes.
Don't you say it, Ricky. These colors don't run.
I'm not gonna say it.
Good.
Hey, look, Frenchie, I thought about it. So why don't you go ahead and break my arm?
Truth, then, is superior to knowledge. It comes before and exists as the way things really are. If there were no humans to interact with or discover that gravity has different strengths on Earth than it does on the moon, it would still be the case regardless of if we knew or were opposed to the concept altogether.
No way.
That's great.
If the metaphysical reality of truth did not exist and our corresponding rational and sense experience didn't allow us to engage with it, we could not know anything. The correspondence theory of truth defines truth as a proposition, belief, thought, statement, or representation corresponding to reality. Truth obtains, we have truth, when reality is the way a proposition represents it to be, the way it actually is. I know this sounds common sense, but common sense is not that common anymore. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any critical thinking skills. The correspondence theory of truth was the only understanding of truth up until the 1700s. It wasn't until the Enlightenment that truth was challenged with alternative understandings and definitions. The first challenge was the coherence theory of truth, proffered and developed by Spinoza, Hegel, and Blanchard. It states that a belief is only true if it coheres with one's entire set of beliefs. It's a check to see if one is being internally consistent. Coherence is a valid and desirable test of a true belief, but it's not the definition of truth, for one can hold a coherent belief that's false, since coherence doesn't have to be grounded in reality. One could believe that all humans are unicorns, and anyone who opposes this belief was lying. This statement coheres with the user's system. That is, it's internally consistent, but it's not grounded in reality. A second challenge to correspondence was the pragmatic theory, developed by William James and John Dewey. It states that a belief is true if it works or is useful. In certain fields of knowledge and skill, this definition of truth is appropriate. A mechanic deems that the replaced part work if the car no longer has the issue that required the mechanic's attention. The pragmatic view confuses the cause and effect, or the nature of truth and the test for truth. Truth is not based upon pragmatism, for a lie is often expedient and will work more efficiently than the truth will. Pragmatism then can become a direct contradiction to the nature of truth, the thing we're after. The third challenge to truth could be defined as incoherent anti-truth or relativism. It's also called postmodernism. This video started on these grounds. Relativists have redefined what truth and knowledge is by rejecting the objective meaning and correspondence theory of truth. This, of course, becomes self-refuting, but as one of the most prevalent definitions of truth our culture has adopted, we must be prepared to oppose this view and defend the nature of truth as laid out. The fourth challenge to truth, known as the performative theory, was developed by Strawson. It holds that true is a performative expression. One is not making a statement, but performing an action. If this is the case, then how can the statement, true is a performative action, be true? It's a proposition. It fails the very test it sets out to establish because Strawson made a mistake in extending the reach of performative actions too far. Statements are true or false if they correspond to reality. Thus, descriptive or propositional statements convey truth regardless of if they are performative expressions. Performative language divorces the correspondence of the subject with the object and elevates the individual's subjective agreement to the statement. The correspondence theory of truth is the foundation for anyone's thinking, and we usually use it without understanding how it works because it's properly basic, a self-evidential truth. A strange thing about truth and our apprehension of it is coincidence.
Coincidence? I think not.
It's possible to have a true belief, but the way you arrived at that knowledge is by sheer luck. Imagine a homeless man who knows that George Washington was the first president of the United States. Is he correct?
1789, Washington is inaugurated first president of the United States of America under the new Constitution.
Yes, but when we learn that he came to know that because he believes everything he reads on the bathroom stall in Miami Beach, we realize he has a true belief but no knowledge to back up his belief. He lacks justified warrants for his belief. There's a difference between a true belief and a justified true belief, but not all beliefs need be nor can be justified. Warrant or justification for belief is acquired when sufficient evidence supports it, and the belief was formed in a reliable way. The statement, "I believe the first president of the United States was George Washington," may require historical evidence and the justification for how you arrived at that conclusion. It must be more than "I read it on the bathroom stall," depending upon what's at stake. There's a close relationship between knowledge and truth. One can't have knowledge if what it is they're claiming is false, for knowledge is built upon the foundation of truth, the way the world really is. All knowledge is directed at obtaining truth about subjects, objects, and immaterial reality. As promised in the beginning of this video, here's how we should respond to those who define truth as based in opinion. Truth for our culture has become nonsensical. The opposite of true for our culture is not false, it's you do you. Truth for them is being guided by the value of autonomy, self-sufficiency, and independence. People are free to do as they please in our society as long as what they please to do causes no harm to someone else. If I value your freedom to believe as you like, I will keep my truth to myself, and you better keep yours to yourself. This ideology is still operating on the concept of truth, but abusing its true nature. They're in effect saying, you can believe whatever you want, just don't impose your beliefs on others. If the opposite of true is false, what are the implications of this statement? Looking at the first part of the statement, people are free to believe as they like. How is truth defined here? Truth is either unknowable, contradictory, or a lesser value than freedom. If truth is unknowable, then people are free to believe as they like because we can't know truth. To make the claim we can't know truth is a claim to knowledge, though. Knowledge of the truth. To know the truth that we can't know truth is self-refuting. If truth can be contradictory, people are free to believe as they like because all truths are true. To define contradictory statements as both true is nonsensical. A cat is not a dog, a square is not a circle, 2 plus 2 does not equal 5. If truth is less valuable than freedom, then the freedom people have to believe as they like is of higher value than truth. Is this true? The fact that we're asking the question of, is this true, proves it must not be true. If I'm asking if a concept is subject to the very thing it claims it is above, then it must be false. If I'm evaluating if freedom is a higher value than truth by truth itself, then truth must be higher than freedom. Are people free to believe as they like? Yes. People are free to be wrong in our society as often as they want. Just don't try to drag others into your delusion. That's not what they're saying, though. They're saying all statements are true, even false ones. The second part of that statement, and because of that, no one can impose their beliefs on others, is self-defeating. For they're saying we can't impose our beliefs on others by imposing the very belief that we cannot do what they're doing. It's hypocritical at best, nonsensical at worst, and manipulative in practice. FYI, The opposite of true is false. Not true for you, but not for me. So let's recap. Have a proper understanding of truth. Employ this proper understanding of truth to gain knowledge about reality. And don't be dumb. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy one of these videos, so click on the screen to up your critical thinking game. And until next time, critical thinkers, think deeply.